Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
Hi, this is Ed in San Diego, and you're on Global TV Talk Show. Our very special guest today is Susie Carter, and she is an expert in business growth, business advice. Wealth is your birthright. Wow, that says it. So welcome, Susie.
Thank you, Edwin. Thanks for having me. And I'm excited to share with the audience today because I'm all about the money. I love making it, love spending it, love generating more of it.
Oh, that's great. So where are you located, if I may ask?
Well, I'm your neighbor today. So today I'm in San Diego. I'm in La Costa, California.
Oh, yes.
Visiting family, and I reside in Oregon now. I just moved from San Diego to Oregon. So a little bit of a culture shock, but amazing community.
Yeah, I've been up there in a beautiful area.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to want to know about you and how you have experienced the change, because I was reading your stuff here and in prep. And it says that in 2008, you were impacted by the financial recession, the crash. And so many people have been impacted by the pandemic. And like my primary business for 24 years was producing live training conferences for Fortune 500 companies, HR departments, and people who sold into HR. And so all that went away, crash burn, March 1, 2 years ago. And so we decided, oh, now what? And so all the money, like 300 meetings, like, whoa. So we learned how to do, I had to learn how to be a TV talk show host.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah, and so here we are. So I've done over 400 broadcasts, some better than others. And according to Google Analytics, if we can believe all that, they say that we've had 168,000 audience page views from over 100 countries. So we're now beginning to monetize this more and more. So I'm really interested to get my head around what to do next. So what has been your secret to building a multi-million-dollar business?
I mean, and
there must be more than one secret.
There is lots of secrets, right? So in my new book, Power Your Profits, right, I talk about what did it take to build. I built 10 companies, 10 multi-million-dollar companies, two $10 million companies. So what was that journey that I did? Because my vocation, right, this always surprises people. They think I have some MBA, right, PhD. No, I'm an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur. I started out as a hairdresser, right, and became the top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world, and earned that right by the dollars we produced, right? So I'm very goal-driven, goal-oriented, but I'm a disciple, and I'm sure you know him when I say his name, of Michael Gerber. I sat in his class and I realized I had a salon and spa, and I was the best technician in that business, right? I had a team, but I was the highest producer. And so he said, do you have to be at work? I'm like, yes. Are you afraid to go on vacation? Yes. If you got hit by a bus tomorrow, could somebody run your business? No. He said, if you answered those questions and you don't have that freedom, then you own a job. I'm like, oh my God, I own a job, and not a very well-paid job. I was talking earlier to a client. I'm like, I was doing $1 million, but there was no profit. Like, how do you do $1 million with no profit? Well, we're not trained as entrepreneurs. We love the vocation. We go in the business because we're good in the vocation, but we're not taught the other stuff. And so I've made it my mission to really look at, you've got to be good at your vocation. 15% of our financial success, this is a pie, right? 15% of our financial success is based on our vocation. The other 85% is sales, marketing, operations, and finance. My passion is the money. I say math is money, money is fun, because I hated it. I resisted it. I didn't get it. I wasn't charging enough. I wasn't profitable. And I'm like, I need to understand this in order to not own a job. And so I take this complicated thing called math and business math and make it fun, right? I've created simple spreadsheets. I've created a way to speak into the entrepreneur language so you can see how many qualified leads do you need to hit your revenue goal? How many units do I need to sell to hit my revenue goal? What's my monthly goal? What's my weekly goal? What's my quarterly goal? What's my annual goal? Am I there? Am I not there? So take out all the emotion, look at the facts, and to go, oh, if I didn't hit my numbers, I didn't do certain things. So what were those things? And so break it down from the complicated to simplify it. You still have to work and you still have to work hard. I find, and Edwin, I'm sure you do too, is most people are working on the wrong things. Right? What's the thing that only Edwin can do? What's that highest income producing activity? Let me focus on that and delegate everything else.
So when you were doing hair, did you charge $100 a haircut, or was it $42?
No, close. We were 45. We were $45, right? And so, but we had multiple services, right? We looked at the lifetime value of the customer. I looked at the turn ratio. I looked at what does our base price need to be, right? And all that came from studying at night, right? I would work in the day and go, okay, I got to figure out how to make more money. I'd go to the library. I'm aging myself, Edwin. This is back in the day before Google. You would have to go to a bookstore.
I'm there too. Yeah.
Yeah, to get the information to help me grow. But it taught me how to be a well-rounded business person. And because I was hungry, I'd get the education and then implement it. And I think that's most entrepreneurs. Just tell me what to do, I'll go do it. Right? Most of my clients are that way. Susie, don't give me theory, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Right? And so building that business, I would look at, how do I treat my pricing? So my average ticket at that time was $374 per client. Right. So when I look at that and monetize that as a technician, I was doing $250,000 a year.
So were you in Beverly Hills? Who can afford that?
No, I was in, listen, you in San Diego, I lived in Vista, California, Edwin.
I know it.
Those people that don't know it, it's a little hodunk, right? It's
the blue collar. Yeah.
And so when you look at that, I want all my clients to be chemically dependent.
Not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah. So I wanted all my clients to be chemically dependent on me, meaning they were doing color, they were doing highlights, they were doing some kind of chemical work because the money was in the chemical work. So I've taken that same philosophy. I started teaching at this Millionaires Forum because I was asked to speak. They're like, oh my God, you have $1 million salon and spa. You're doing $250,000. How are you doing this? Will you teach our clients this? I'm like, okay, but it wasn't like I was doing this business for entrepreneurs. I was just like, sure, here's what we do in this business. And then people like you would come to me like, will you show me how to do it? I'm like, I don't know anything about your business. You know, and you hear that long enough, I say it's God knocking, right? Saying, hello, McFly, right? Go into this industry. So I started taking on clients because it was fascinated. I was fascinated, like, you want me? I'm not a CPA. You want me? I don't know anything about landscape design. I don't know anything about graphic design. They're like, no, you're our coach. I see it. And so that's how I transitioned to the entrepreneurial space, is just playing, right? And I love business because business to me is fun. And it's a puzzle. Like, oh, Edwin, how can I help Edwin hit that $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million mark? Like, what's the pieces? What's the combination? Almost like this combination lock. Remember these from school or at the gym? One little tick off and this sucker doesn't open, right? And so business is the same way. If your finances are off, your profit's not going to open. If your marketing's off, you're not going to get new clients in who can pay what you're worth. If the lock's not going to open, right? If your sales are off and you suck at sales, it's not going to open. So business is the same way. What is a combination for your industry? What is a combination for you? Because I'm a master at sales. Somebody might suck at sales. Well, let me teach you the system of sales, right? Everything is systemic, right? And people get confused, like, oh, I don't like systems. Well, you use systems every day. Use the system of how you produce the show, how you greet a client, what's the questions, how you produce it, and pass it off to someone. That's a system. Same thing in every area of your business.
I'm old school. I'm going to take notes here.
Yes, I'm the same way, right? So I want you to, everyone look at, why am I making it so hard, right? We get afraid, we get nervous, we aren't finding the right coaches. I know there's a lot of people out there selling a lot of things that don't make sense, right? The proof's in the pudding. I've built 10 multi-million-dollar businesses. I think I have something to say. I've done it wrong. I've done it right? I've won awards. I've gone bankrupt. I'm humble enough to say, Oh, that did not work, right? Don't go down that road. That's a dark road. Let's go here. Let's go over here. So when the pandemic hit, I was just like you, my business was all live events to a sale, live events to a sale. We did virtual events, but I didn't think what we produced at live events would cross over to virtual. Well, I was wrong. It did. We did just as much or more. And never having to go stay at a hotel, never having to get on an airplane. I had my first live event September. This is September 2022 in San Diego, right? And I'm a little nervous now. I'm like, well, I've been doing it this way.
I know.
Now I have the hotel overhead. You got 40 grand worth of expenses. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, you're back into the pivot. And I think how we thrive as entrepreneurs, are you willing to pivot or you want to suffer? Like, you can't suffer. You got to look at who knows how to do this? Who can help me figure out the combination to this? Where do I find that information? So we can pivot and pivot fast. Can't sit in it long, can't dwell in it long. You got to pivot, implement, pivot, implement.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by Porchlight Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
Stop dreaming and start living overseas. International lifestyle consultant Emily Braun can help you seamlessly transition to your new life in your dream destination. Whether you are a retiree, a digital nomad, or a mobile executive, Emily Braun can make your transition overseas a success. Visit emilybraun.com.
Coutalis is a global group with a worldwide footprint. With 16 agencies in 10 countries, Coutalis offers companies and mobile professionals a unique combination of HR services and options. Find us at coutalis.com.
Take your communication skills to the next level. Barbara Bolt of Bolt Global has a passion to make you shine. As our globe expands, effective intercultural communication and presentation is a must. Visit boltglobal.com.
And it's the system. The magic word is the system.
Yeah.
That if you don't have I have found, and fairly recently, that you can't make it on a 1 + 1 + 1. You have to have a system that is a multiple. For the same effort put out, people will buy more than one product, and they're willing to pay a little bit more because you give them the way to use it.
Exactly. What other problem can you solve for the existing people you're already serving? That's all I did naturally. Right. And then when I stepped back and said, well, what is it that I do? I created a scripted consultation. I created a scripted sales form. Here's how you do what you do, right? This is how you do it here. If you want to make $250,000 a year, this is what you do. Right. And people always want to change it. I'm going to change it for me. Okay. You're not going to make $250,000. You're not going to make $1 million. Change it. But what I know, doing this consistently, the only way, and when I was able to sell my business for $10 million was because everything was written down. Everything was duplicatable. We had videos. I'm going to age myself. We had audio cassette tapes of the training, right?
Wait, now they're called podcasts. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
So back in the day, I'm like, listen to this training, implement the training. So it just became an easier solution than me spending my time training someone. It's how do I teach them to do what I do, word for word, right? You still have your personality, but if you look at any high achieving salesperson, we're all salespeople as entrepreneurs. That's the number one priority. You got to have scripts and scripts to do it well, scripts to follow up, scripts to, engage in that conversation, scripts to re-engage in that conversation. But we resist it. Why would you resist it? right? Let's create consistency so you don't have victory days. The victory day is when all the money comes in one week and the next week you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Right? Or in 1 month and not another month. Oh no, what am I going to do? We want to create consistency so we can breathe as entrepreneurs. I want to breathe. I want to know, like clockwork, here's what's coming in. And the only way that does that is our sales system, our marketing system. So we have those qualified leads coming in to be able to close those.
This is exactly the situation that I have found myself in. And so I'm really happy to hear it live in person. So let me ask you a question about reaching out. There's like a group of customers that I have in mind for my business, and I'm having trouble reaching them. I know they're busy running their own lives, doing their own things, and they don't care what I have to say. But I believe that once they hear me, they will care.
Right. Well,
I mean,
they don't
this
know.
is the entrepreneur's disease here,
Yeah.
thinking that I've got the answers, right?
But we all know at a certain point we don't, right? Are we humble enough to ask for help? Now, your gender role is a little bit more cautious to ask for help than my gender role. Men are usually go, I can figure it out. I got all the answers, right? So that's a hindrance, right? Where women have a tendency to go, I need help. Where's the help, right? So I think when I look at your marketing and your marketing message, I will look at where's your social media? Are you doing YouTube videos? Are you doing Insta stories? Are you putting them on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is where your community is.
Right.
So how can I give them micro learning, bite-sized information that they can see it and speak to the pain and possibility? Here's your pain, here's possibility, which you're the possibility, you're the answer. And so many people are giving content. Content's great, but if we don't show the audience how it's relevant to them, they won't listen. So we have something, again, go back to system called a relevancy stack. The relevancy stacks in 60 seconds gets the audience relevant to what the topic you're getting ready to prepare, whether it's a sales topic, whether it's a speaking topic, whether it's a money topic, whatever that is, so that they're like, hey, that's me.
60 seconds. So you have to narrow the core issue for that particular audience.
Yeah, so let me give you an example. So Edwin, think of a time when you didn't have money to invest in your business the way you wanted to. Do you have a time that you can think of?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. And so what happens, Edwin, if you don't improve upon that?
No money.
No money. And if you have no money, then what happens?
Worries.
Worries. And then if you have worries, then what happens?
Well, goes on and on.
It goes on and on. And then what happens? Like we quit, we end up getting frustrated, right?
Yeah, rabbit hole. Go down the
Rabbit hole. So let's say at the end of working with me, we have that figured out. You know exactly how much money you need. You know exactly how much time it'll take. You have the free cash flow to see how you're going to grow your business. Would that be a value? Perfect. 60 seconds, you build relevancy and you're like, I need that. I need that. Right? So what is the pain and what's the possibility? So we as entrepreneurs, we're the turnaround, right? If I could turn that around, what would it mean for you? See, we spend so much time trying to sell people versus serve people. I don't sell anybody. When I'm in front of my ideal client, I'm just serving. I'm finding out from Edwin, what is your pain? And let me fix it. Let me show you. Let me give you the tool. Let me give you the resource. But first, you got to get them to their valley. See, when we're in sales calls, when we're in meetings, we're just teaching from our mountaintop. Nobody cares about your mountaintop. That just seems braggadocious, especially, again, I'm going to use your gender being a male, right? You just talk about, I'm this, I'm that, I'm great. Who cares? Make it all about me. Think of a time when let's say if you do team building, think of your time when your team had mutiny. You couldn't get your team to produce. You couldn't get them to follow your instruction. And it'd be like you, yesterday, right? So whatever that pain is, have them think of their own time. Inside that, the credibility will bubble, right? We have no idea. We just keep trying to sell. Quit selling. Get in front of your ideal qualified clients. Qualified means they love and adore Edwin. He loves and adores them. because we're too old to be serving people. We got to push uphill. I don't know about y'all, but I am. I want people that come hungry, like I'm ready, right? Versus I got to come to this thing. And the third thing, they can swipe the card. Now, you have your ideal avatar and you get much deeper, but for me to simplify it, they have to have those aligned values. They have to be able to afford me, or I'm wasting my time. I can motivate people. That's not my job. Go read my blog, go watch my YouTube videos, go look at my social media. I will motivate you, right? But if at the end of the day, I want people who want to take action so I can transform their business. And that takes money to invest in your marketing swipe, money to invest in technology, money to invest in me, money to invest in that marketing team we're going to bring in, money to invest in operations so we can build a business to sell it. The only way I sold my business for $10 million, Edwin, is because I had everything systematized. And you know where those systems came from? This is how duplicatable it'll be. When I built the salon and spa, I used those same systems building my entrepreneur business. I just changed the name. Business is business is business. The only thing that's different is what's our cost of goods, what's our profit, what's our EBITDA, right? That's the only thing that's different, right? I can look at margins. Every industry has standard margins, standard budgets to go, why are we making it so hard? Because I used to be afraid. I didn't know Edwin's business, but I know P&Ls, I know money, I know sales, I know marketing, I know operations, I know how to whip it into shape.
We are pleased to welcome Adamo Education as a proud sponsor of Global TV Talk Show.
The concept of a micro school is the reimagining of the one-room schoolhouse. My name is Tamara Becker. I'm the president and CEO of Adamo Education. The micro school concept really does not just lend itself to the personalization and the customization of learning, but also the social development and fostering that sense of love for learning. Unlike what we see in traditional brick and mortar schools, we have multiple grade levels in the same learning space. Students can be enriched by the socialization that they get, as well as the academic support from peers. What differentiates Adamo is the fact that we are taking the best pieces of brick and mortar, of digital, and then at-home learning. Students here can come 5 days a week. They can come 4 hours a day. It will really just depend on what is best for the student and for the parent. To enroll, just reach out via phone, text, or email, and we'll have that personalized conversation, and we'll be able to get you all set. Check us out at adamoeducation.org.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
So that's the biggest lesson.
Oh, the biggest lesson, you started out with my 2008 crash. So I just sold my company for 10 million. We had real estate investments, right? We had so when I sold the company, we got half the money up front and we got half the money on the back end. But once we got in that relationship, we realized we couldn't be in partner with this company, even though we did our due diligence. But I had great advisors, and my advisor says, Susie, whatever you get up front, that's got to be the money, because it rarely works out on the back end. If it does, you're lucky. So I'm like, okay. So we were okay with $5 million. If that's all we got, we were happy. So we invested a lot of money into real estate. Well, you know what happened to the real estate. So we had over 10 million in assets. And what felt like overnight, Edwin, we lost it, right? My portfolio gone, my real estate gone, my marriage of 17 years, the man who said, I will never leave you, gone. The stress was too much for him. And so here I am all by myself. And I remember being on the floor bawling, just crying, and not like, woe's me pity party, but why? I'd been a good steward. I followed all the rules, whatever the rules were, right? I was conservative. I had multiple revenue streams. I had multiple investments. And the reality is I was too risky, right? At that time I was 45, I think. And I remember thinking, I have 20 years to rebuild this. I don't want to work that hard for 20 years. Now, I believe in God. I don't know if you believe in God, but I believe in a higher power. And I remember being on the floor because my marriage was gone. My money was gone. where I was just felt my world collapsing. And I heard this voice inside my head that said, first, I will never leave you and forsake you. You don't need a man. And I want you to get up and share the story, get up and tell the truth.
Oh, cool.
You know the system of money.
Yeah.
So it didn't take me 20 years because I already knew how to do it. It took me 20 years because I had to figure it out along the way. Nobody taught me this. Nobody gave me like a cheat sheet or a checklist, right? It was like, oh, I need marketing. Let me go figure it out. I need sales. Let me go figure it out. Let me go hire this coach, that coach. So I came back. I had 2 clients. I had Lisa Nichols, who runs Motivating the Masses. She was the most requested teacher of The Secret. And I had John Assaraf. And John Assaraf had a company called One Coach. I did a turnaround situation with John, which got me great exposure. And Lisa's business, I took her from 800,000 to 10 million. And I just put my head down and got busy doing for them what I did for myself. And so the lesson was, you're going to have a pandemic. You're going to have an economic crisis. You're going to have a recession. You're going to have a depression. You're going to have a divorce. You're going to have bankruptcy. Can you get up when you're down? If I would have stayed down, if I would have stayed boohooing, I would have not done the biggest transformation of my life. I came out with a new book published by Simon & Schuster. It became a bestseller. I created a new brand, right? Created a new market, created different freedom, created more financial wealth. The first thing I did was go back and invest in real estate. I've made millions there and still made millions to go get back on the horse. Right. I was throwing my skill set out with the bathwater because I didn't think anybody would listen to me. But more people listened because I told about my crash and burn. I said, you think you're having a pity party because you didn't make profit last year? I lost 10 million. Go try to lose 10 million and come back from that and keep a smile on your face.
So you are very succinct, and I'm feeling the energy that I haven't been systematizing enough.
Yes.
So it's been here, but I haven't done it on a repetition basis enough.
Right.
Yeah.
To wean yourself out of a job and then get someone else to do that so you can go to the next. Like, how do I make this bigger beyond Edwin, beyond Susie? Right. Even with a small team, right? Everything's systematized in our current business. Right. We use Trello and ClickUp to put all our systems in there. We use Loom. We use Kajabi, right? To go, how do I train new employees, new marketing people, clients? The same things I'm training externally for clients, I have internally for my staff, right? To go, they've got to be walking my talk. And so it's too hard to spend time training someone, because when people turn over, now the beauty industry had a high turnover. We had every 3 months you're turning people over. Where traditional businesses, you don't have that high turnover. I remember going to this recruitment class with McDonald's, and they're like, we have 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Our average turn is 3 weeks. I got to get them in profitable in less than 5 days. I'm like, holy cow. So I knew my market at that time was 3 months. I'm like, I needed to get them up and running and profitable in less than 30 days. It shifts my mindset. Same thing, any role that I bring on, the first thing I say is you gotta create your salary. So if I'm paying you, we got to figure out, if I'm paying someone $1,500 a month, how are you going to free my time up? How are you going to free, if you're a marketing person, how are we going to get $1,500 more a month? That's goal number 1. And if you don't know how to do that, and if that's not your mindset, next, because we're entrepreneurs. So many people have all these people on staff that don't care about the money. I'm going to tell you all about the money. I'm going to tell you when it's good. I'm going to tell you when it's bad. I'm going to tell you when we're going to cut and why we're going to cut, right? Because when the pandemic hit, we all freaked out. I freaked out. I cut people. I cut the fat. All the fat was gone. Anything that was luxury, right? Like we had a big marketing budget, gone, right? Looking at, I had 2 assistants, one's going away. To go, oh, let's get lean and mean so we can serve. I didn't know what was going to happen. Nobody knew. Like, how long is this going on? And most people are just reactive management, not proactive management. So I want to look at what systems you need to put in place and how can we be proactive management. And so we do that with our podcast. Our podcast is Power Your Profits podcast. Our book is called Power Your Profits, which is everything that I did to build an 8-figure business, from bootstrapping, right? When I look at my first several businesses were bootstrapped. Every dollar in, 50 cents went to me, 50 cents went to the business. So let's pivot that. Like, how can we start monetizing that? So every chapter has assessments and do this to get this. I couldn't spell it out any more simply than that, so that I could give people the blueprint, because that's me. I want the blueprint. Don't give me some idea. I know I need to market, but what, how, what's working right now, right? I know I need a website. What's the most important things? I know I need to build content. What's the most important things? I know I need financial planning. What's the most important things, right? I always like to say math is money and money is fun. I want to make this thing called business finance fun, that we can play games around your money to go, how can I double my day? How can I double my event? How can I double my revenue this year over last year? Let's play a game, right? And when you alleviate the stress of I have to a game, there's a different relationship and different energy that you bring to it. When I'm struggling, because I still struggle with money, I still struggle with, I got to make payroll and go, wait, let the struggle go. You know what to do. Breathe into it and go, what's the game? Oh, the game is I've got to close 2 people this month. 2, that's it. 2. Okay, and then you close 2 and you're like, can you close 2 more? That's what I used to do with Lisa. She would come and give her a goal every month. She'd be mad, kicking and screaming. There's no way I can do 40 grand. Go on, go do it. She'd come back. Oh, I did 41. Okay, good. Let's do 50 this month. Right, let's do 50. She's like, 50? I just did 40. I know. Let's do 50. You can do it. Now I gave her a plan. We looked at every event. There's strategy behind it, just pulling a number out of your hiney. But to go, sometimes it's just putting that plan in place that makes the biggest difference. I took Dr. Judy from 1.3 million to 4.8 million by using one spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet was her efficiency. Every client was spending $127. She's a homeopathic doctor. We took it to every client spending $479. Like, that's it. Same customer being more concise.
But how did the doctor get people to spend more money?
Because we were finding the need, filling the need. See, before she was an order taker. A client would say, I don't feel good, right? Oh, I need hormones. She'd give them hormones. Versus looking at holistically, we figured testing gave us, 1, almost doubled our revenue, and 2, gave me as the patient the answers I'm looking for, what's missing, whether it's an allergy test, a hormone test. She did a lot with celiac disease and Lyme disease. And the test would tell exactly what was missing in their body so that she could recommend the supplement. So our retail sales doubled, right? Our IV therapies doubled, because now she was doing prescription-based selling versus you're going to come in and say, I don't feel good. You know, I think I have this. So many of us become our own doctors. I want this. I saw it on an ad. I saw it on TV. Oh, I heard I need hormone replacement. And then doctors do hormone replacement. Right. And so when you look at taking that power back, I do recommendation selling, right? I do recommendations. And if you're not right for me, I'm happy to say that too. You're not right for me, because either you're not going to do the work, right? You don't have the mindset to reinvest in your business. So some people could be making money, but they're afraid to invest in marketing. Well, I got to get more people.
This is really hot, and I'd like you to come back again on the show when we have more time. But we have about 5 minutes, and I'd like to focus in on the system. Okay, so you know what to do. I know what to do, and you get busy doing something else, and the system isn't cared for. You're not paying attention to the system. The systematic way of finding the prospect, qualifying them, and then trying to get to a close. This is it. Okay, I know that, but try it. It works. And get busy trying to take care of something else, and then you're not working on that system again. So I'm sure I'm not alone in the world with that issue.
Yes.
But that is it. That will make a difference.
How much value would it be for you, Edwin, if you had a checklist of all the systems you need to put in place?
Yeah, a lot. Right now it's,
Right. So again, I'm gonna go back to my book, right? Great resource. And in I think it's chapter 9, I give you a systems checklist. Like, what are the systems I need to put in place? Right.
I'm writing this down. Let me take
Yeah. So go to my website, susiecarter.com. On the front page is the website, right? Susie Carter, CARD is in dollar.
I see.
ER.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're watching this, but if you're listening to it, D is in dollar and dinero, right? And so in the book, I try to give you the system, the financial system, you can go to our website. Once you have the book, you go to our website to get the forms that I'm talking about, right? You get downloads from our podcast. I give you the handouts. So again, I want to be the resource, whether you hire me today or you use me as a resource, because I know eventually, Edwin, you'll go, if she's giving this to me for free, well, or $25, the book's $25, what's going to happen when I pay her? Right? To go, how can I bring that value? And I'm a Xerox machine as an entrepreneur. Just show me, don't give me theory. Don't tell me I need to put a system together. What system? Right? So there's that tickler sheet. And so every chapter gives you a tool that you can implement inside of your business.
And the website is susiecarter.com.
susiecarter.com, right on the homepage.
Good.
Order the book. Right, published by Simon & Schuster. It's a real book. It's not some download thing. It's a real book, a real live book.
Good for you. It's really nice to meet you, and I've learned so much. Look at this page that I've been writing here.
I love that. So, I love that.
Yeah. So I'm going to get on that in about 5 minutes.
Perfect. So, and then once you get the book, if I can support you, reach out to me, because now you're my brother from another mother. Let me see how I can help you and spend some time with you to shorten that learning curve.
Thank you very much, Susie Carter.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.